It is a privilege and a pleasure to introduce the first featured reader, who is Brittany Smail. Brittany started writing poetry while earning a BA in philosophy at SFSU, an experience that created a strong desire within her to scramble up words. She returned to SFSU in 2014 to work towards an MA in creative writing. She was raised in New Jersey, Colorado, and Northern California, but never quite knows where or whether she grew up. So please join me in welcoming Brittany.
Might be a slightly too intimate way to start this, but I want to share with all of you that I'm a virgin. This is my first ever reading. So happy to have it with you all here. Thanks. It's the first of many things I've experienced here at the program. I came to writing pretty late, and so I feel like I'm still sort of in my teenage phase. I'm sort of like figuring out what I'm doing, what my style is, what my voice is, and I feel like this program has really let me do that. So this is not really a very cohesive collection of poems. It's sort of the ones that I felt like were the only ones that I could share out loud. You know, it's me finding my voice, so thank you for giving me a chance to sort of speak out loud. I just wanted to start with a little quote that I'm thinking of in my head right now. I was in Paul Hoover's Poetry Machines class last semester, and we did a lot of like looking for things on the internet or looking for found language or whatever, and I stumbled upon this forum that was for people, I don't even know how I got there, for people who needed advice. They were like vocalist singers who needed advice, and somebody had asked, oh, I can never hit high notes, you know, I'm having a problem, and there was some decent advice, and then there were things like this. If you aren't confident, you'll suck. Also, you need to breathe properly. So I'm telling myself right now, if you aren't confident, you'll suck, and also breathe. In no order. I'm just going to go with the first one underneath here. Some don't have titles. This one does. Temporary title called Subtle, Elegant, Nuanced, Quiet. Here we are kissing together, collaging with the enemy for new ways to ask questions. In that lovely, unstammered English, so neat and well-tailored. The posture not absent-minded, shoulders back, tummy in. Again performing the usual morning absolutions, hoping to come away clean. But a clouding, a cross-breath. I'm on my mind too much. I often trade my pen for keys. A mother's withering look in my head as I step out, sip a beer in the twilight, put a foot close to my heart, hear a marriage proposal floated by passers-by. How will you say it? Just, will you marry me, Christina? I'd like to investigate weather, the arthritis of growing colder, the realm of answers versus the realm of possible answers, explanation points. What is God if not just infinite possibility? What if God is not just infinite possibility? How modifying was that? Of course, these things are valued, but not economically, not as indispensable aspects of our intelligence and development. Subjective is best bridged directly at high levels of distraction, of which educational economics are only one manifestation. Confused, belligerent, clumsy, incoherent, an oversimplification perhaps. We simply aren't as rational as you would have us be. Okay, this is from Andrew Doran's class from a couple of semesters ago, and this is just for fun. We did some sound poetry and some just kind of like investigating, at least in my head, like where language come from, and sort of like the sub-language, the sort of layers beneath language. So I wrote a poem that was just playing with, I'm always fascinated with words that aren't words. You know, like why certain words became words and others didn't, why certain syllables that should fit together and mean something don't. So this is sort of in a syntax that seems familiar, but only has a few actual words. And then a poem, they kind of go together, a poem after it that's sort of talking about like imagining a loss of language and then that as a disconnection from our humanness, sort of. So the first one's called Diving Bell. Let's see if I can read this. In capsule, absence, instrument, then splashes under divinate keys, no sounded on tones. Plumite stream linears, uneared, what means low end. To meanless's denoters below in waves, 2 words, articulated silencers, swolled voidine, airful of lifinite, in visceral sounding dings. And the second one, this is kind of fun. The second one is blown. What sound on lips is not voice, plumates a streaming ascent, an updive trailing, shining glad absence of time and space are mental, bubblings thought on wind, silenced for us. Okay, this one's called Architecture. It's a little bit newer. This building of soap are dull smooth, carved all lights and longs. I think funny at it, but don't. They smell like thoughtless. Colored money breath, shiny spittled a wonderful briefly, if that's where your mind natural goes. But I don't count atoms or days or fingers. I put money on my mind, but keep drawing hands. Ask them to rename building, soap, stone, moon, sun, sky, first time ocean. It's a brief thing compounding when sounded out. All right, I'll change it up a little bit. All right, this one's a little older too, but changed. This one's called, for lack of a better title, Elephant Poem. Elephant Poem, already about an elephant. I guess it has to be that title, right? Elephant Poem. A poem I read and questioned. This elephant, a performer, a practicer of tricks, did not write, though someone did, and I wondered who he might be asking. I dreamt of elephants once, well, many times, in honesty, over and over, in fact. So many elephants before me in past afternoons, dust waving ears, like great flags, tails and feet shuffling, in patience they questioned. Me, I suppose. I seemed to know some then, wordlessly, kicking my feet in the air, hanging my head and listening to myself and the elephants because I wanted to stir the air, to ask the questions elephants are packed full of. They could hold me in their trunks, comfortably tucked, but they won't. Answer me that again and again, as if remembering to forget that elephants can't. All right, another newer one. No title. Lover something else. A question. Is it that an accent speaks of relocation? Relocution. What haven't I been moved to receive? To rephrase. That once I went will happen to me. Each time a word is foreign. That distance between pride and vanity might be measured. Someone else. When I want to say not receptive, but recall only conducive, and recite the loss of my wits, that my hallucinations are imagined states, and I prefer to be stateless. All right, this one's called Beard Contest. I borrow my father's face, now show more handsome, square rounds and jowls older reflecting. I recall a beard contest when they too grew to resemble, even as marked different lengths and grays. In hirsute photos, each more substance, more realized father and son, for a week before shaving like itchy hairs. Could I be less a man, less mother too, my smooth cheek-to-cheek brother who won't find a parent in the glass? The father of my face would betray family, denied your resemblance, but I don't have your choice. Let's say I thought I had maybe another. I was going to keep a theme going with the brother poems. I'll keep a theme going with the father poems. This one's called What Sea Was. I said was because I don't have a father anymore. He had to stand everywhere. They diagnosed him with nothing, but I expect he'll be rearranged. It's just my voice is kind of changing. All my words exchanged for thinking. I sink into that spot on my spine where I lock deep fact still. A man coughs and a woman wraps her arm across her chest. Don't we all have to fear each other? After all this time, we remain mouthful, heart less than half our bodies, always up to something newer, avoiding our own no, our bacterial will, and something that knows more. Even between uneven breaths, what feels right here, that somewhere so many, somewhere so much. This was just sort of playing with the line to see what I would do with it. A work in progress. Untitled. You came from it, your eyes wet with it from earliest memory, so you see the ocean for the first time as you see your own hand. Understand it without question. You walk from the shore and it moves away too easing, into relief a cool blue, body extending from your vision. You release it there so you see the ocean for the first time behind you. Look to land yourself by straight line, signs on dry white fields, your eyes turn to solid ground. The sea now, the horizon, tilts strangely so you see, the ocean for the first time betrays you. It built backwards, your knowledge, following sand until lines stopped at your own cool blue blood. Your eyes turn to your hand and squinting just so, you see the ocean for the first time. Okay, this one's called Tear and Whip Her Round, She's Drowning. It's a happy poem. All right. My aunt alcoholic wants to say fuck it because you don't know. Fuck what I say. She's hard, she says. She's seen, she says, things. She fills with cigarette smoke. She hunches around exhalations that hum like fingers running the wet rim of glass. My child brother says, doesn't matter. He's different, he says. He's not the same. He soaks in tequila. He sucks my fear into his expanding fearlessness. I collapse for him into tight pulses of energy. My surface exile says, damage accumulating. To what, I say? I don't want, I say, to know the back of my hands. I show desiccation within, flood without. I can't float or sink blood suspended by action. Not enough of either of me. All right, I'll get that. I don't know how much time I have. Am I doing all right? Okay, 3 minutes? Okay. I thought I would never fill 15 minutes. Okay, okay, I'm gonna do 2 more. There's 2 more. This one's really short and I just kind of put this together. What I bought, a one-liner. It's more than one line. What I bought, a one-liner. My own dinner, someone else's words, the idea that. An elixir to cure panic, yellow gold and oh so promising it makes me nervous. That false start, I'm yourself and someone else. You go your way, I'll pull back, be likable. These roles aren't autoimmune, they afflict each other. I can use peripheral vision exclusively to get through the morning. That willpower, I got that on credit. Okay, I'll do one more really quick and then a short one. This one, also no title. I tell ripe lies, fruit white molded sticky, with questions like buzz, like dizzy, like spinning, wheels amid air aloud, shouting its own chemistry, not mine, these sounds, thick with unruling growth. They fib into my arms, curl my tongue, naturally human. By disguise, they disquiet me. I retract their steps, but arrive anyway sure, in juicy, imperfect decay. And then one little, the very last one, which is I think my favorite poem I've ever written, which goes, I love you too, life I do. I'm trying, but God, people.